university context, what that means is that colleges can decide what they mean by merit. They can say by merit we mean solely SAT scores. Or they can say we value the all-round individual. We value SAT scores, but we value grades. If you play chess, if you play the piano, if you've walked around the world, that should count. That's a more rounded definition of merit. All I am saying is, I'm not against a rounded definition of merit. I'm just saying use it in a race-neutral way. Because unlike throwing a football or playing the piano, race in itself is not a talent. I didn't do anything to be born with a brown skin. Why should it count for or against me? Let me give you one example, because we talked earlier about merit. An example about merit producing unequal results is the National Basketball Association. African Americans, who are about 10% or 12% of the population, are 75% of the NBA. Why aren't we protesting that? They are hugely overrepresented. Anyone propose a recruiting program for Asians? Hardly any of us guys out there on the court. But my point is, nobody protests because it's quite clear that merit is producing inequality and not some form of old boy network. And that's all I'm saying. When merit produces inequality in a free society, we should be willing to live with the outcomes, but not in a cold way. Let's ask why, and let's address the root cause of the problem. That's my emphasis.
So your idea about merit, then, is anecdotal and not empirical in any way?
No, I'm saying that whatever...
Sorry. And then the obvious way. Again, it's pure merit. Pure merit.
I am not saying that it is possible to define merit apart from a context. I'll give you, if you are applying to college, merit obviously has a lot to do with academic skills. If you are applying to be a firefighter, it would be ridiculous to give you a calculus test and say, hey guys, we'll take the guys with the highest scores. And in fact, no one does that. If you go to be a firefighter, what they do is they give you a hose and ask you to run 100 yards. They give you a map and ask you to find a location, presumably because it's helpful to be able to find the fire, And my point is, so I'm saying at various levels, if you look at various types of jobs, there are different measures of merit. And while one measure or another measure may be flawed, it is preposterous to maintain that at every level of society, whether it's reading tests given to a 5-year-old, the SAT, the law school test, the civil service exam, the firefighter test, the police are they all biased? It's ridiculous. Why don't we face up to the fact that people are performing differently and focus on how we can help every group reach its full potential? That's my argument.
Thank you.
The test is a scapegoat.
Thank you. Just very briefly,